Okay, firstly, I would like to I'm really excited about tonight. It's good to see so many familiar faces. Um, I'm really, and what makes me really excited is that we're going to talk about connect tonight. We're going to talk about connect in a way that really kind of connects people, as our name indicates, but to really kind of tell the story of our work and what makes Connect unique, and the many faces that are on the screen today about our relationships that we've built over the years. And come early 2023, Connect turns 20 years old, if you could believe that. Right. So some of the people that are on the screen right now, we've been in relationship with for over 20 years. So I think that's really amazing. And I would just love to kind of start off with you all giving yourselves a round of applause. It's been really a pleasure to be in this work with you. And for those of you that don't know Connect, and a lot of times Connect seems like it's an organization that focuses on men. And for some other people that have different relationships with Connect, it seems that we only work solely with survivors and women and girls. But what's really great and unique about Connect is that we have a holistic approach where we're really engaging allyships and collaborations and partnerships with people in the community. And as many of you know, Connect is a citywide organization. We initially were part of the Urban Justice Center, and we spun off and grew up and became Connect approximately 20 years ago. And we've been doing this work for really actually longer than 20 years, but 20 years under Connect, and several years also under the Urban Justice Center. So we're really experienced in this work. We have we like to think that we have a pulse of what the community needs are, because we are of the community, and we are really informed, and our work is guided by what the community needs. So firstly, we're a violence prevention organization, and our entry point into violence prevention is through intimate partner violence. And we really understand that people who are struggling with violence, particularly in New York City, are not only struggling with one form of violence. So the survivors that we work with and communities, families that are struggling with domestic violence, we know that they're also dealing with housing issues and issues around homelessness and joblessness and working for a livable wage. And we approach this work as domestic violence, intimate partner violence work, as a health issue and as a social justice issue as well. So that really informs and guides our work. And we approach this as a multi-faceted, multi-layered issue as well. So our work is truly, truly intersectional. And tonight, you're going to learn a lot more about Connect and the programs that you may not be familiar with. And again, you're going to hear from our wonderful staff, as you see in this picture. Connect's family and team is made up of full-time employees, made up of consultants and students at sometimes, and also really communities that we work with. They guide us, they inform us, and they volunteer with us as well. So Connect is not just about 10 or 11 people we have on staff when we're at our full capacity. It's really about all the community partners and school-based partners and faith-based partners that we work with on a day-to-day basis. And you'll hear also from one of the committed and passionate staff that we have. You're going to hear from some community partners, and you're going to hear from people who participate in our roundtables and circles. So, if we want to hear from you as well. And after we do our presentation and you hear from the staff and see some vignettes and testimonies, you'll have an opportunity to engage us in conversation as well. And we'll answer any questions that you may have. But before we begin and hear about our programs and hear from our wonderful staff, I just want to kind of reiterate the fact that Connect is really about allyship. And as many of you know, me and Sally and many of the staff at Connect, we've been in co-leadership model for quite some time now. And because that's part of what we believe in, that's what will shift and move the needle in communities that we work with, that men and women need to be working on this issue together. And we all know that in terms of heterosexual relationships, that the stats that we work with and the numbers that we have say that 85 to 90% of men are committing violence against women and girls. So that's something that we learned early on and understood, that it only makes sense as a strategy to work with men and boys to keep women and children safe, and also to keep other men safe. Because this, as I said before, that this is a social justice issue, a health issue, and it's part of the continuum of other forms of violence that happen. So when we look at intimate partner violence, it's also connected to gun violence. It's also connected to systemic violence. And we approach this work, again, looking at multiple forms of trauma that survivors experience, those that are doing harm experience, and those who are harmed experience, and then also the witnesses as well. Everyone gets impacted when violence is happening in intimate relationships, and also in community relationships, and also in systemic and institutional violence happens. It creates multiple forms of trauma. And the staff that we have at Connect and our volunteers are not only experiencing maybe their own forms of trauma, but they experience the trauma from the people that we serve and we help and work with and partner with as well. So this vicarious or secondary trauma, as it's called. So healing is so critical and crucial to our work. Accountability, as you see pictures of the men's roundtable and the women's circles that you'll see later on in this presentation, accountability is so, so important to our work. And it's not just about someone acknowledging harm that has been done, but it's also the acknowledgement, understanding that there's consequences to their actions, also that there needs to be a process of change, and also some level of repair. So accountability is strong for us. Healing is important for us. And we understand that healing happens in many different shapes and forms, and that there's no 5 steps to healing. It's a process. And so we're gonna learn a lot more about that tonight as well. And we've been doing this for 20 years. And, we're really about transforming the places in New York City where a culture of violence exists. And we're really about transforming that culture into a culture of peace. So tonight you'll hear about our programs once again. We'll hear from people in the community, and we'll hear from our wonderful, committed, and passionate staff about the work that we've done for 20 years. And also, this is the time of year where we're about giving and end of the year giving. And we also want you to consider connecting your year-end giving and taking advantage of that tax break before December 31st. And we're gonna have opportunities for you to, one, text to donate if you feel, that our work is valuable. And there's many other ways that you can support our work, not just about monetarily, but also spreading the word about our programs and our trainings. You'll hear about the Connect Training Institute. And through the Connect Training Institute, we train many of the organizations in the city that do work around intimate partner violence and sexual violence, that work with youth, that work with men, and work with survivors in multiple capacities. So I'm gonna stop here, but it's really great to have you all join us tonight and hear about our work. And we look forward to hearing about you and maybe sharing, the impact that Connect has had on your career or your life, or through your transformation towards healing and accountability as well. So once again, I'm Quentin Walcott. I probably didn't introduce myself, but many of you know me as Q, but I'm Quentin Walcott. I'm the executive director of Connect, and you'll hear from the staff, and beginning with Serene Roy, who is our newly appointed co-program director, along with Marlon Walker, and we'll hear from Serene in a few moments. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Q. Welcome everyone. I'm Shireen Roy, as Q mentioned, co-director of programs with Marlon Walker. Connect is celebrating its 20th anniversary, and so will I at Connect. So it's really exciting for me to share some of the things that have come along the way while working at Connect. Specifically the work with women and in our training. I know many of you know us through, Connect Training Institute, first and foremost, and we've trained hundreds and hundreds of folks throughout the years. And I would say for the past 20 years, many of you have participated in these trainings, whether it's the Understanding Domestic Violence, Essentials and Intersections, or some of my more specific trainings that I've facilitated, including women's empowerment, working with women one-to-one in depth, and more recently, within the past few years, we're doing a pretty specialized training on intimate partner violence in pregnancy, geared to doulas and folks who are working in the birthing community, which has been very vital in our community work. And as we look at our training institute, all of that really reflects on what we do in community, right? What's important to learn from survivors, what's important to learn from community members. And we have Women's Circle monthly. We also have many, many healing circles, and our healing circles occur throughout the year, around 2 to 3 times a year. And, women have shared a lot of their experiences and have worked through healing jointly together. Trauma is something that is a journey to go through. No one says that trauma work is easy. But collectively, in circles of support, having healthy support systems, that's something that I think, we see at Connect is something that really empowers women, allows women to utilize their voice in a different way, find a safe space to speak of. So whether we are doing a community circle in Queens, or we're doing something in Harlem or in Brooklyn, or we specifically are doing something for survivors, this is very important work. And, being a part of this has been life-changing as a woman of color, and also raising a young woman myself. We see that if we believe in this work, we walk the walk and we talk the talk, and it reflects in everything that Connect does. So I'm really excited to share some videos with you all today. We really reflect on the importance of this work, and a few of the participants like to share what they have engaged in. And we have a testimony from someone who has participated in our healing groups, and we're going to have that testimony first. And then we're going to have a little sort of testimony and feedback from one of our doulas. And the doula is also going to share some of what they've done via training at Connect, and how that has transformed their life. And for those of you that do not know what a doula is someone who supports someone who is pregnant throughout their pregnancy. So it can begin initially at the beginnings of pregnancy and go all the way through throughout the life of the pregnancy and then during the birthing process. And many times what we have is, someone that can continue to support a survivor who discloses that they are experiencing intimate partner violence via this capacity building we've had through training. So let's set up our first video with our survivor, and then we will talk and listen to our doula.
Hi, my name is Karen Hurtado Campo, and I wanted to talk about how participating in Connect NYC's virtual group sessions has been helpful for me. I feel truly seen and heard by the facilitator and the other participants. It's as if I found an extended family, and being able to receive support from a group of women that have similar life experiences as myself makes me feel like I'm not alone. I'm so fortunate that Connect NYC has folks from different cultural backgrounds and that they understand how the effects of capitalism, white supremacy, and the prison system disproportionately affects marginalized communities such as Black and Latino people, the queer community, and the differently abled. Thank you so much, Connect NYC, for being a part of my growth and my healing process. Shout out to Shireen for her bountiful wisdom, and I look forward to programs that Connect NYC offers in the future.
Thank you for that. And I believe now we're also going to show our doula. Give us a moment. So, listening to, that testimony is, just really inspiring and moving, because healing really means connecting the dots. So I'm glad we were able to show that. And here's our doula.
Peace family, how are you? My name is Jewel and I am the founder of Jewel of the Earth. I am a birth worker and I am many things. I am a mother of two beautiful beings and I'm also a domestic violence counselor. And I want to share with you all that I've gotten training from a wonderful organization called Connect in New York. Many years ago, 10 years ago, while I was attending a doula training with Ancient Song in Brooklyn, and Connect was able to come in to talk about, to inform us of domestic violence during pregnancy. And it was so impactful. It was so grand that I just had to seek out more knowledge to better, provide care and services for the families that I serve here in the tri-state. And I just kept going to Connect and got certified, and I learned so much. I learned so much knowledge and wisdom on domestic violence, and I'm happy to be the voice for so many families. I'm happy to bring awareness. I'm happy to connect families to resources to master, that said trauma and other learning so much about other topics like child abuse and rape culture and just various things. And I give thanks for that safe space that Connect provides. I give thanks for the love and unity that Connect provides. And I'm happy to be an extension of all of that.
Our trainings with doulas have really impacted the New York City area. We have trained over 500 doulas last year, which has been really exciting work for me, and I'm really glad to have been part of that. So now, as we highlight some of that work, just want you to really think about, the importance of bringing in all of these, layers of violence, layers of work with trauma, layers of survivors, layers with training, and text Connect NYC to 44321 to donate. We thank you so very much. This is what we feel is so important, what we will be doing. We hope that you can continue to support this work and, join us in creating change throughout our New York City community. Thank you. Okay. So now I'll pass it over to my colleague, Marlon Walker.
Thank you, Shireen. Actually, before I start talking about men's work, when I started Connect, Shireen was the person that I shadowed. She took me under her wing and pretty much trained me. Not used to speak or talk to trained social workers, but also to listen to survivors, which is something that is very unique with Connect. That we are so versatile that we are able to do both. And I have to very much thank her for that. And me and her have been in the trenches for a long time. So thank you. So in terms of the men's work, so I've been at Connect, I would say hitting to be 18 years. And Quentin Walcott, everybody calls him Q, was pretty much the person who started off this men's work. And he has been to this day still in the trenches. Probably the only executive director that I know that's still doing this work in the streets, so to speak. Um, so with me, right, I came in and the work has expanded so much that not only are we working from junior high schools to high schools, working with young men who, for a long period of time, to change their mentality, change their behavior, before they get to the level of them being abusive to somebody, and understanding that violence is not the answer. Um, Great about these things is that these men have now, some of them have gone to college, and some of them are doing their own groups in colleges now, extending this work that we do. And matter of fact, Friday, actually, one of the students emailed me saying that he got a scholarship to play football, and that because he was always so focused, always on football, that he never pretty much mastered how to socialize with women and girls. So he was asking me how to speak to, what to say, how to write them, how to approach that. I'm like, wow, it's interesting how it doesn't matter the age. We always need somebody there in our corners to like help us and support us. And I am so glad that these young men have grown up to be men, positive men, right? Apart from that, then we have the fathers group. Fathers group, which is both in English and Spanish, and these are men who are struggling with, especially now in the times of our holidays, not working, can provide for their families. The whole idea of can't buy a gift to my child, and how that does that make me look? Struggling with when COVID kicked in, and these men were struggling with the mental capacity. All these things that come with parenting that these men struggle and they want to share, and having somebody in the corner to say, "Hey, listen, we can do this together." And as Q mentioned earlier, still holding them accountable, right? Then we have Hombres Dialogando, a group of men who think we've been going out for 17, 18 years actually. And some of the men who have been with me for over 15 years, like Alex Rodriguez and Jose Aguirre, men who realize that this is a process. This is not just coming one time and it's done. This is a lifetime change. These are men who from Latin America who have come here, leaving their country because of violence, coming here thinking they're gonna have a better life, and not realizing that there's much as violence here that there is in their countries, and then using that violence towards their families. So going through that process of how to dismantling that, the childhood experience, and me from in America, especially the time, the period that I grew up, um, understanding how that impacts you, not just as a child, but as a grown man. Then we have the men's roundtable. We started out being once a month, face to face, in person, and then COVID came, and Quentin Walker, everybody calls him Q, decided to do this through Zoom, and now it's become a weekly thing. And these men tackle on all types of topics, current topics, but more importantly, uh, they tackle on the whole idea of physical and mental health, which is especially something that we, as Black men, men of color, something that we don't talk about. And I was just thinking about like today that I heard about Brother Twitch, who committed suicide. Like you just never know who's dealing with mental health issues. So it's so great that the men's roundtable is something that keeps going, and it's weekly, and it's a place for men to, even if you don't come for a month, no matter when you show back up, you're still part of the group, part of the brotherhood. And then we have the elder group. And this is a group that I would say probably for the past 5 years. And not just me, but my colleague Salma is going to talk about also about all senior citizens. Group of men who are from 70s, 80s, 90s years old, who have found us a safe space to talk about their stories, their histories. Growing up, something that I always looked up to and respected were elders. And now the whole idea that elders are not being respected, they're being abused, not just in the communities, not just from the systems, but even the adult children who are abusing these, the elder men. And for them, it's a space for them to say, this is enough. What can I do? But more importantly, understanding that no matter how old you are still able to learn and be open and be exposed to new things that are going to change your life. And from now we're gonna hear a couple of videos. One is from my elders group, and another one is from the men's roundtable, and they're gonna share some of the things that they experience and why they are part of these groups. Not sure which one is gonna be first.
Good
So we have brother.
afternoon. My name is Franklin Hampton, also known as Franklin Be Love. I'm a member of PEP Senior Group. We meet twice a month, and it's been an interesting experience. I get an opportunity to bond with my brothers, men of color. We talk about pretty much everything, politics. We talk about our experiences. We talk about health. We talk about the issues of white supremacy, whatever comes up, and we discuss it in a manner where we share our viewpoints, and get the opportunity to see things through the eyes and hearts of another individual. I come in with my own tunnel vision. I see things through my own experiences. Now I get the chance to see it through the experiences of others. I've been here, I think, about 2.5 years, and it's a beautiful experience. And I plan on to continue coming. And we need more men.
Yeah, brother Franklin is one of the most outspoken brothers in the group, along with brother Porter, who pretty much talk about born and raised in the South and sharing their experiences in the group of what that was like dealing with white supremacists and racism, and how it's still going on today. And some of these men having flashbacks and rehashing some of the stuff that they went through now in these days and times. So it's very powerful, especially for myself who did not grow up in this country. And to hear them speak about that, just put things into perspective of how, as Black men all around the world, how violence has impacted us all. Next video. I think the next video is Men's Roundtable, and is by brother Kwasi, who's going to speak, which is very interesting because this brother also came to the elders group, and we were able to connect intergenerational and talk about health.
Heard, and I've been a member of the Men's Round. Peace, everybody. What's going on? I'm Nicholas Quasi Hurd, and I've been a member of the Men's Roundtable for the past 3 years. I'm also a facilitator around wellness and health, and I get to offer that to the men's group every so often. The reason I initially got into this men's group was because I was trying to better understand how men could come together and talk about their emotional state and talk about just what's really real going on in our lives. And the reason I've stayed all these years is that because no matter how many times I come, no matter how I'm feeling the day before or the burnout or whatever's going on in my life, no matter how I'm feeling, this place has always been a way to regenerate my spirit. both from how I get to speak and also from what I get to hear from the other brothers in the room. So on behalf of myself and everybody else in my life who's benefited from my time there, I want to say thank you to Connect NYC for continuing to help me grow and develop into the man that I want to be. Much love.
Mm. Thank you for that. And this is part of the work that we do. Right? This is something that we work because we believe in, we live it, and we need a moment to participate and being part of this in any capacity, whether it's donating, whether it's being part of the groups itself. Um, we have to have men do this work so the world can change, so we all can change and be supportive. Be supportive of women, be supportive of trans folks, be supportive of everybody, because as human beings, we have to do better, right? So please, if you appreciate the work that we do, and I know for some of you all who already donated, thank you so much for contributing to Connect. Spread the word, donate to 44321. And like my brother, Fidel said, uh, not even to go backwards, we have to take a step back. We have to keep moving forward. Ni para atrás, ni con impulso. Peace. And I pass this now to my sister, Salma.
Thank you, Marlon. Good evening, everyone. My name is Salma. I'm part of Connect Family since 2015. When I started, I said, okay, I'll be focusing, probably one community, focus on probably what I'm best at. So as I was best at, as most of my talent is working with immigrant population, because I'm immigrant myself in here. And I was interested to do this work and connect because I felt that like the immigrant community does not have a safe space or space that they can trust. They can go to who they can connect somebody that look like them. So I was one of them who looks like them, and also creating a space where they can share their stories. Their trauma is sometimes is not as simple we think. So as you know, I go mostly work in my partner mostly is in Queens community and Bronx, but I work mostly with the Queens Library and New York Library. Why is library? Library is one of the safe space most of the immigrant feels. When immigrant walks in, they feel like a library has a space for them because they trust the space. They feel like it's not a institute, it's not a government space. They go there for service, so but they end up going my circle. I'm with the Connect, but I started with my sister circles. My sister circle, I started with the one branch in Queens was in Jackson Heights. From there, I grew almost to 7 or 8 branches in a month because the needs is so high for the immigrant community. They heard from one and they spread the word that Connect is doing this work in the library, creating safe space for the survivor and people who are currently in the relationship abusive. And also I do a lot of work in Bronx. Bronx also has a huge community population. Before I continue about my work in Bronx, I also speak Bengali, Hindi, and Urdu. So I do not only provide in one community, but I also provided in Muslim community, Hindu community, also Indo Guyanese and Trinidad Caribbean community, because even though I don't speak, but I understand their culture sometimes. That's why I'm there too. But in Bronx, when I started a few years ago, I remember I started with the 2 women in my group, and they said that we didn't know that Bronx had a space for immigrant community. They thought that is only for Latino and other culture because it's also a huge community of Latino, but then also a huge community of newly immigrated here. So when I started working in Bronx, and I remember the 2 women, they said that, do you know how much women need this kind of space? How much needed? And I say, you know what? How many workshops do you want me to give you? They say, if you can come twice a month or maybe more than that every week, we need a space to speak and heal. They need a healing space. They need somebody to hear their story. As I am there, they're not only healing, I was healing myself because I'm also a survivor myself. Through this work, I felt like their pain is not only their pain, also they were able to connect with me, because I think sharing your story is healing. Also listening to other people's stories is healing. So as I do this work every day, I am healing too. um, and also, other part that I started unique was a senior citizen group that Marlon spoke earlier. Seniors is a very unique population to work with. You know, people think people think seniors already been there, they've done that, they probably doesn't need any service. But going to senior, if you look at most of my picture, I'm working with the seniors, creating the space for seniors to speak about their experience and what they're going through now. You will be surprised. Seniors feels that they don't have anyone to hear their they don't have a voice to hear anyone. They don't have people to hear their voice, I mean. They don't have a place to speak. They feel like the people are neglecting them. So when we go there as a connect to give them a space, they will not stop. They will continue. You could stop. You could be there for 3-4 hours. Their story will be continue because we are giving the space for sharing their pain. And they're adult to seniors and experience as adult, and also their adult children abusing them, witnessing their violence and all this experience they have. What else? I'm kind of right now. I think there's a video to share with one of our partner.
Connect has been a partner since Turning Point was founded 18 years ago, and it has been an invaluable resource and a source of support to Turning Point. We send all our employees and interns and staff, new staff, here for training. We participate in trainings, we do workshops together, we do a lot of panel discussions together. And I think together we bring faith into the domestic violence and intimate partner violence work that we do, because we understand that faith is a very important part of our lives, and it plays a very important role in the lives of survivors and victims.
Please, everyone, support my work and our work at Connect. Mostly, the work we do in the community is needed. A lot of people are providing service, but people not creating a safe space for healing, because I feel like everybody want to give them a service. Nobody want to hear their story. So please support Connect, NYC, donate 44321. Hopefully our program can grow in the community. I want to do more immigrant community, more work with the Connect. Please donate. Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful evening. And I'll pass it to my wonderful sister, Danielle, who work a lot of faith work. And, I also have a little bit of faith work too, but I will pass it to Sister Danielle.
Thank you, Salma. Yes, we definitely tag team on the faith work as well. Hello, everyone. My name is Danielle Williams, and I'm the coordinator of Connect Faith. And this has been one of the most transformative and enjoyable positions I've ever had. I've been with Connect since 2001. And it actually started back in 2017 in seminary. I had the opportunity to focus my studies around faith and gender-based violence, and had the opportunity to intern at Connect, assisting faith leaders addressing intimate partner violence in their faith communities. Connect Faith program has been around for 20 years. And it started out with a survey of the 5 boroughs. And what that survey said was that when survivors experience intimate partner violence, one of the first places that they want to go is their faith community. However, when they do go, at times the faith community is not equipped to assist them. And that is what called this work into being. And so what we do is we increase the capacity of faith leaders to respond to intimate partner violence through multiple ways. What's really powerful about this work, and we had the opportunity to experience this actually this week, is through our trainings. Not only do we educate on the intricacies of intimate partner violence, but we provide a safe space for faith leaders to engage in critical reflection on their traditions, on their beliefs, their theologies, on their sacred texts, and to reflect on all of these aspects of their traditions and pull out what are the resources that can really help us to eradicate intimate partner violence in our faith communities. But also we look at how can some of these elements of our tradition create roadblocks? And that's a difficult conversation, right? People don't like to have that conversation out. But we lean into that vulnerability. We have that discussion. Faith leaders are able to dive into and dissect on theologies and various issues. And we do this through our trainings, but also through our monthly faith roundtables as well. And also clergy panels. The most recent clergy panel that we had was on the intersection of intimate partner violence and reproductive justice. So we had faith leaders from multiple traditions providing their theological reflections on the topic. It was very, very insightful and empowering for many who listened. Another thing that we do is that we provide support for congregational programming as well. People can come to our trainings and oftentimes they get really excited and empowered to do the work at their congregation. And we provide support in that realm, whether it's congregational focused trainings, congregational dialogues, also collaborations with multiple congregations. When I was an intern at Connect, the first faith community that I worked with was the Hebrew Israelite community in across the city. And we worked with those leaders over a year. They had multiple trainings throughout the year to equip their community. And to this day, those leaders have the tools and they're just doing their thing, providing support to survivors in their community. And oftentimes they'll call back and they'll share stories with me about how they have been able to provide compassionate, trauma-informed support to survivors in their community on their journey to safety. And so it has been really exciting and enlightening to hear about that work. And, as I said, I've been here for a year. The program has been around for 20 years. So we're constantly hearing these stories of how faith leaders have been able to provide the support for survivors in their faith communities. And so right now, we are going to hear from one of our newest partners, Pratima Kushmani Dubai.
Namaste, greetings. My name is Pratima Kushmani Dubey and I identify as priestess or pandita. I believe in the vision that Connect creates because it connects us literally, right? Like chains, and it brings us all back to the center that essentially makes up the bigger picture. We all come together with these different ideals and perspectives, but again, it makes up the bigger picture. And I love that Connect is really about the greater welfare of the world and the greater welfare about bringing societies together and informing us about our greater being and our power, and that we don't have to be subjected to this idea of violence within the self, violence within our communities, and especially violence within our interpersonal and our domestic relationships. It aligns with my work. In fact, I feel like it also empowers me as a spiritual leader to know that there is a bigger community that will also like share in the vision that I do to not rebuild, but to continue with our persistence to create a beloved community, which is a loving community that teaches us how to love ourselves, take care of ourselves, and how to also be informed of the things that are happening in the world to perpetuate something different. So, namaste.
Yes, and so, you know, just to build off of what she shared is this beloved community that Connect Faith has been able to create and facilitate over the past 20 years, and that, you know, this work can be very challenging, you know, and there is this community of support of faith leaders who have been doing this work, who feel passionate about it and support each other. And, you know, at the end of the day, we are here able to do this work because of everyone who is in this room. It is really about collaboration and about community, all of us growing, learning, and doing the work together. And so we are grateful for everyone who's in this room who has been supporting Connect over all these years. And we invite you tonight to continue that support through the donation. And you can text Connect NYC to 44321 to donate. Thanks, y'all. Oh, and let me pass it back to our director, Q.
Okay, great. Thank you so much to, I mean, you can see it yourself, this committed and passionate staff that works above and beyond, you know, these, you know, we even joke about this 40-hour thing that people talk about that you work during a week. I mean, as you all see, we work the 9 to 5, we're online, we're in the community for community roundtables and circles and trainings at night. We're working with, you know, all throughout the 5 boroughs. We're working in different languages. We're working with people from all over the world who land here in New York City. Some are escaping violence from their countries of origin to really end up experiencing other forms of violence here in the United States. So what we are doing is we're meeting their needs as much as we humanly possibly can. And we want to continue to do so on your behalf through your donations and through your support. And another way you can support us, of course, financially, but by sharing the information about Connect, telling your friends and family to like us and follow us on social media. That's another way that we can get the word out about our programs. And so I really want to just kind of also say that these are just some of the staff members. There's some staff members that are also in the audience with you all. I want to acknowledge the two that are working behind the scenes right now, which are Amnel, is our executive assistant, and then also Jackie Hernandez-Lewis, who is our communications and is doing work around development as well. Again, working to build the capacity of Connect so that we can scale up and scale out and reach more communities and help more people. And I want to acknowledge Rhonda, who I believe is on the call still. She's our director of finance. Her and I, we work together. All of us work together and wear many hats in different capacities. And we really push. We do the nonprofit hustle. You know, you do anything you can to keep the doors open, keep the training room open, and also be able to provide services for folks in the community. We do whatever we can to be able to transform the culture of violence that exists, and we have to be honest about here in New York City, and transform that into a culture of peace. But you see all the different elements of Connect. Again, sometimes people see it as, oh, they just work with men, they only work with survivors, but we work from young people, from middle school to elders and older folks, up to maybe 90 years old. So it's intergenerational, it's interracial, it's different genders and identities working together. And that's the way we move the needle, right? That's how we transform communities. And really, as I've always said, And I've really, I've grown up at Connect, right? I've been with Connect close to 20, 23, 24 years. And I've been in this work, this particular type of work for over 25 now. And I started when I was 2 years old. I'm 27 now, so do the math. But no, seriously, I've grown in so many ways, and I've grown with this staff. We are like family. We drive each other crazy. We love each other, but we go through the motions because we love the people. And that's who we're really ultimately working for. Connect is bigger than Q. Connect is bigger than all the staff members. It's really about the people in the communities that we serve. So we want to keep that going and keep that flowing through your support. And we'll do this work on your behalf. Multiple ways that you can support us. So we really, really appreciate you. And now we would like to open it up for a conversation. If you have questions, if you want to share testimony. And what we do is, we allow people a safe space to tell their story. And what we do is that we turn something that is seemingly private and intimate, and we make it public so people can get the help that they need, the right help that they need. So that is our work, essentially, turning something that is so private into something that's public, so we can get the accountability, we can get the justice, we can get the healing that is necessary to transform individuals, relationships, families, and ultimately communities. So I thank you and would love to open it up to questions, sharing more testimonies, sharing your story. We're here, we're available for the next several minutes. So any questions or anything for any of us, statements you would like to make, you can open your mics and let's jump into it.
Yeah, I'd like to open up the floor.
Good, Brett.
All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Brett Crenshaw, and I'm calling in from Jersey City, New Jersey. And I'm a member of the Men's Roundtable. And also I'm a citizen, a native New Yorker who has seen Connect's work in different capacities. On one occasion, I just haphazardly stepped to my man Q on the steps of City Hall, and was standing next to him and Lori Cumbo in alliance towards the purpose of eradicating domestic violence and healing. And so within the roundtable, I'm crossing the threshold into the old guy. I turned 50 this year, and I'm sure on this call there are many of my peers who understand what that milestone in our lives is. And I feel so wonderful to be connected to an organization because it's one that both involves my growth as a person, as a young man, and it also is the place where I am in the present as I step through this threshold. So at this point, I can align myself both by showing up, also revealing myself and putting my spirit and emotional presence into the group. And I just want to tell all of us, workers, professionals, native New Yorkers, friends, that the work that we're doing together, the impact, man, is not easy, but nothing worth anything ever is. So I commend you all on the work that you do, and please keep on. We are here.
Thank you, Brett. We really appreciate that. And, the contribution you make to the roundtable is just tremendous. And, I think the women's circle, the men's roundtable, Hombres Delegando, the faith work in circles, particularly the circles and the roundtables have become the communities. We may lead the conversation, make sure that the conversation flows, but it belongs to the individuals that attended every week or every month, whatever the schedule may be. It really belongs. It's no longer ours or we facilitate it. We just really open up the Zoom and let it flow. So I must say that.
Yeah, this is Neil Berry. Yeah, thank you for that, Mr. Crenshaw. Connect is what it said it is. It's connect. We started out the conversation with the word connect, and certainly connect. On Staten Island, we had no faith-based domestic violence organizations or ministry that were doing it from a faith-based perspective. And you provided all the training. This was going on 15 years now,
Right.
and we're continuing to do that work. But more importantly, your work has provided people with more leaders, and that's what we need. We can take it off the I and bring it to the leadership that brings more leaders on board. So not only do we do this on Staten Island from a perspective of just open arms, but there's there's secular organizations that do this work that came out of Connect's trainings. So the impact, as the young brother said, comes from Connect using its ability to connect to many other areas that we wouldn't be able to do that without Connect because of your affiliations with the different type of municipal offices and the different type of trainings that no other organization I've been affiliated with, and I've been doing this for a while now. So we have a lot of obligation, a lot of appreciation for connecting each and every individual person in there. Some of the fatherhood programs, and you didn't talk about that to the extent that it saved many lives on Staten Island. You came up to Staten Island, you in particularly Q, and you know how you're loved out here in terms of the work you do. So as well as Marlon, he just stopped coming out, but we love you out here. And the work you've done, and like Sally, kind of the impact that it's been. I always tell you how much I love you guys because it saved a lot of lives. And you introduced me to people that talked about the URI program, which is the animal shelter and animal abuse. You introduced me to the shelter ability to go into that because more than 97% of our people are not in domestic violence shelters and shelters, and you made us aware of that. You introduced us to the child witnesses programs, age programs, things that people just don't know about, that the capabilities of Connect. So I won't keep it long, but, through the grace of God, you've been able to do a lot of this work because I'm a faith-based man, and I do think that this work requires faith, and I think you have to be built for this to do sustainable and long-term work. So I just want to say that I appreciate everything you do, and I'm sure the Lord will continue to provide and do ways for you to continue to do the great work you do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Neil. And Neil has been a trooper, and we've grown together. And somebody to bring us out to Staten Island. I mean, shout out to Neil and
Thank you, Neil.
brother Bobby Digi and Canvas Institute out there. And Staten Island is a lot going on out there. It needs us. It needs all of us. So we really appreciate you, Neil, for sticking with us in multiple ways. Belva. Belva's another one who's been with us from the beginning.
Yes, I just wanted to say, yes, I have been a member of the Connect family for like 12 or 13 years now. I remember when you were at your other location. And I just want to say how much I appreciate you, all that you do, how much I've learned from you through all of the trainings, but especially the safe space that you have always provided through the community dialogues, the interfaith roundtable, the women's circle. It has always been a safe space, and that's what I have appreciated the most. So I love all of you, and just thank you so much for everything that you do.
Thank you, Belva. We love you too.
Yes. And something that Brett mentioned, and we'll close out on that as well, but the Father's Day Pledge Against Violence. This year, we're going to be in our 14th year. So as you can see from the numbers that we talked about tonight, staff members that have been with us from 18 to 20 years, and shout out to Sally, who recently retired. She and I were co-executive directors for a number of years, and she helped bring me into the work as well. But programs, trainings, relationships have lasted for multiple years, right? And even our trainings, we joke about other trainings being like 30 minutes, 90 minutes. Our initial UDV, Understanding Domestic Violence training, when we do it in person, is 32 hours long, right? So we're not talking about this is what domestic violence is. We're jumping into how does it show up in people's lives, how the systems impact in negative and positive ways, people telling their stories from why it happens, who does it, what is the impact on people's lives, and how does it impact the witnesses, typically young people. So we dive deep into these conversations, and it's really transformational. If somebody had their hands up, I believe. Anyone else would like to share with us? Is that you, Maya, or you're on mute if you're speaking to us?
I just wanted to echo the thanks for so much of what Connect has done. I came through Connect via the interfaith roundtables and breakfasts years and years and years ago. And yeah, just multiple opportunities, even via my workplace when I was at Barnard College and working with Columbia University, and y'all would come to Columbia for the for breakfast there around domestic violence. And so yeah, just wanting to verbally echo the thanks for the space that this has been, sorry, rough bedtime, and continue to be. Okay, I'll stop now. And sorry, one last thing that I was going to say too is, I hope it's okay to say, but another way to support Connect too is if you're on Amazon or Amazon Smile, you can designate Connect as a recipient. Anytime you buy stuff, it supports them as well. And so, yeah, just wanting to give you all the flowers and all the love and all the support, and loving that I can come back after a few years and still see the space doing its wonderful work.
Thank you, Maya. We really appreciate you. And we remember Maya pre-baby as well. So come a long way. So glad to see you flourishing, your family flourishing. It's been really great. Anyone else? Anyone else?
Yeah, I can speak. Sorry, I don't have my camera on. This is Amir Muhammad Figueroa. My pronouns are he, him, and I've been with the Men's Roundtable for some time now. I was just thinking in my head, man, I remember you never forget like how you feel, how people make you feel. And so I remember just, always walking into the room. Y'all got the cookies and the juice and all that.
Right.
And yeah, just having a circle, and everybody feeling like they have a space to, one, contribute, and then just and open up, man. And that's freedom, man. And it's always good to be in a space like that, especially when for men in general, because there's not too many spaces like that for men, especially and young men too. And I love that there's always just different ages groups. So I appreciate, I've gained so much from the roundtables that, when you get so much, you can always return to that and give back. And not to say like I'm perfect, man, but I've learned so much. So whenever I can share stuff and provide, some form of support, I do that. But then I always receive so much, man. And so I'm grateful for that. And I feel like, yeah, it's such a great space. So if anytime I always spread the message, like the great work that y'all do. So thank you for what you've given to me. And, if I could bring in as many more dollars, I'll definitely do that. So thank you so much. And I can't say thank you enough, man. So I really love y'all and appreciate you, and continue to keep doing the great work that you're doing.
I appreciate that, Amir. I just want to I'm going to give Amir some flowers as well, because not only he's a Harlemite and he started the running collective, and they're not just runners, man. They're like activists and leaders called Harlem Run. So you might have seen them popping around Harlem and running in groups and educating people in the community and raising the health level. But Amir and I, we met, I think, at Minisink in Harlem, and we were both presenting, and he was presenting on masculinity and also around HIV and AIDS. And he's co-presented led the roundtables on those conversations. And during COVID, one of our kind of like organic themes was men being better men on the other side of COVID. And he was our in-house because he's also a viral scientist. He was the one that kind of really broke down the vaccines, information about, COVID throughout the process and really informed us. And we had brothers on the call who were suffering with COVID during the pandemic. So it was really a transformative experience. And I appreciate Amir for all his contribution to that, because he really settled people down when there was a lot of misinformation going on out there. And he's been with us for years. So thank you, man. Anyone else? Anyone else? We got Nancy on the call. Good to see you, Nancy. I'm gonna put this brother on the spot because he's been with us from the very beginning of HD, not only as a participant, as a co-facilitator, and also he's going through our training institute as well. So I'm gonna put Alex Rodriguez on the spot. Don't hate me for this, brother, but I want you to say something because you've been part of this and we've been part of you for such a long time.
Yeah, no
Hey,
problem.
it wasn't me, man. It wasn't me.
No, I hear you. No, but I would say when I first started, it's a funny story because it had nothing to do with HD at domestic violence. I met Marlon at an Undoing Racism conference, and he said, let me ask you something, brother, as a Latino man, I'm starting this group where we have a place, that we don't have. And true to his word, I started going there, and the opportunities offered to me with all these trainings. I've had trainings with Shireen, with the youth provider that is no longer around, about the child abuse and, how to talk to children when it comes to, and doing this work outside of this, it offered me the opportunity to work with a domestic violence agency in New Jersey that do it differently. They work off a different program, the Duluth method, but I took what I learned in Connect and I incorporated it into that method because I found that it was a way to reach people. And as a Latino man, I work primarily with Caucasian men. And when I first started, they would look at me like, what is this person, to put it nicely, gonna teach me about, being a man and being talking to my family and all that. But slowly but surely using what I've learned with Connect, they didn't see me as a Latino man. They saw me as a person who may or may not have experienced the same thing as them, may be going through the same things as they were. And it afforded me all this knowledge. And till today, I still participate because we're never too old to continue to learn and change who we are. And I thank Marlon. He's my brother from another mother. Yeah, thank you so much for seeing me there and introducing me to Connect that fateful day at that Undoing Racism conference.
Thank you, Alex. We appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
Let me respond to that for a minute. Let me just respond to something for a minute. I think that what you just pointed out, Alex, so beautiful, because you said you didn't get looked at as and I struggled with that at times. And I think what you said in terms of how you had to change it yourself, but I think the greatness is in all of us. I think that all the complexities and all the young lady that started off this whole conversation talking about white supremacy and racism hit a note when she said that was hindering a lot of people. But I wonder, in an imaginary world, or reimagining what it would look like if we didn't have the trauma and the oppression, what we would be capable of doing or what we can do. And it always itches me to see what the world would look like if we were not in oppression and trauma from day one or even in the womb. That is always something I always ask myself.
That's a great question, Neil. And That's the questions we ask in our groups and circles. Like, you know, and we hate to say imagine if, but we say when we get to this point, what is it going to be like, right? Imagine a day when there's no violence and there's no need for our jobs anymore. That is our mission. That is our mission, to put ourselves out of business. And I say this a lot. I get a lot of flack about it because people they take me out of context. Like, our work ultimately at Connect is prevention work, right? And I'll take the lump, but we really want to put intervention services out of business because we want to be able to prevent, truly prevent violence and transform these communities. And you cannot end violence by just ending intimate partner violence. It's so interconnected to other forms of violence. It's connected to racism, sexism, systemic violence, violence towards trans communities. It's so connected to other forms of violence. We have to work on all of it. So that's important. Thank you for that, Neil, because we are really looking about Afro-Latino futurism, right? About what is this world going to be like when we can, move past this violence piece and get into bigger, better, and more in-depth conversations in life. Somebody else I want to put on the spot, and I hate to do this, but we need to hear from you, Nancy. You've been around for so long, so please share with us.
Oh, Lord of mercy. Well, I had a funny feeling.
You knew it was going to happen.
Good evening, everybody. Well, I was listening to when you guys were talking, and it brought me back to I'm going to throw it back, way back. When you was giving the training, I think you guys had the office in downtown Manhattan.
Yeah.
And it was my first training, my first experience. And it was a whole bunch of other ministers there. And at the end of the training, the room was so heavy. I think that day, one of the pastors got up and left.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, and I remember that you said before everybody leaves, and you started asking each and every one of us, how's the weather over there where you're at? And I was kind of like in my mind, I was like, what is he talking about? And because I had never experienced anything like that. I mean, I've been to meetings where people throw blows and it gets ugly, but it was a heavy conversation that we were having. You were exposing a lot of hidden dark secrets in the faith community that people don't want to talk about. And so, but you took the time at the end to make sure that everybody was leaving okay. And, some people said it's raining, some people said it's sunny, but that really impacted me. And ever since then, I made it my business to, I've gotten training and I've worked with Safe Horizon, but there's always something about Connect that brings me back. And I appreciate it and I love you guys for the work that you do. And I'm going to leave it here because I don't want to get emotional.
Okay. Thank you, Nancy. We love you too.
Love you too, Nancy.
And Nancy's whole family has gone through Connect training over the years. So that's how important it's been to people's lives. So I want to open it up to more folks if you want to share something.
Also, thank you, because I remember the time I was doing a conference in the South Bronx and Shireen wasn't feeling well. And Sally stepped in and it was just beautiful. It was amazing. So thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. And that's what it is, like long-term relationships. And once you come through these doors, you're always welcome, And really, in my years here, I'm the senior person on staff now. And it's like to see the staff grow and then to see the community partnerships grow where, our Connect Training Institute has spawned other organizations, training institutes throughout the state, actually. My sister's place Even within New York City, a lot of our language and technique and curriculum and theology has been replicated. So we always take that as an honor and as a compliment, and we'll continue to do so. I want to give anybody else an opportunity from our staff to say a few words before we kind of close it out. Rhonda, Jackie, Nell, would you all like to say anything before we kind of move on?
Hi, everybody. I'm Rhonda. And so, there's so many things, as a staff person, I love about Connect. I mean, I do remember, when the one of my favorite programs is definitely the men's program, and we'd have the meetings once a month in at 125th Street at our offices, and it was always really good to see the men and young men and older men trickling in to go to the meetings and really bonding and really trying to understand and listen and learn. And it always inspired me. And, always noticed how they never wanted to leave, the program is only for a couple of hours, but, everyone always wanted to stick around. The other thing I really love about the work that we do is the faith program. And what I learned when I attended one of the trainings is how when you're working with someone who has experienced domestic violence, particularly for me, like in my own family, when you're working with someone and you're trying to help someone, you could possibly be doing more harm than good. And I never knew that. That the person that you're talking to could possibly be experiencing so much trauma that they have so much shame and they have so much regret and they have so much fear and so much insecurity that you telling them, giving that person advice would be the very thing that is not helpful to them. And so through our trainings, I've learned of what to say and what not to say. And it is so empowering. It is amazingly empowering. So within my own family, what I've learned is to listen, mostly listen, and not perpetuate more harm. So I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful for everyone who shared tonight. It's very emotional and very rewarding. And I hope to see all of you again.
Thank you, Rhonda. Thank you, Rhonda. And Rhonda talked about the interfaith training, and Danielle and I were in the second day of the training today. So, it's those trainings are still going on, and we're impacting faith communities and helping them develop strategies of dealing with domestic violence in their church, their mosque, or the synagogue. So thanks for that, Rhonda.
Mm-hmm.
Jackie.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jackie. And as Q mentioned, I do more administrative work now, communications and development. But I started out as the legal advocacy program supervisor at Connect. And I was a former prosecutor. And when I received Connect's UDV training, and I was a prosecutor in a DV and sexual assault unit. But when I received Connect's UDV training, it informed me and gave me a different lens on the work that I had not had prior. And I am so grateful for all that I've learned while working there, how I've grown. And I really appreciate the opportunity to have worked with the community, as well as to support the amazing work that the staff is now doing out in the community. Connect is really, like you said, we really are tight-knit, and we try our very best to practice what we are preaching and for our lives to and to like emulate what we are saying about trying to live these nonviolent, peaceful lives. And in trying to do so, you really learn a lot about yourself. and then we go out, right, and we try to help our families, friends, in addition to the groups that we work with. So it's an honor to have been working at Connect. I've grown my family at Connect. Connect has been very like family friendly, and it's just been a really rewarding experience. It doesn't feel like a job, honestly, and I don't think you can ask for any more when you have a place that is your job, that is your employment. And so it's really touching to hear all of the testimonies, and it really brings me joy to help support our communities in whatever way possible. Thank you all. Good night.
Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Jackie. You know, and Jackie's a good example of wearing so many hats just to make an impact on people's lives. And we live it. We live it. You know, I can speak for Marlon to some capacity, but for myself, being with an organization that's dealing with conversations about masculinity and privilege and entitlement. So having 20 years of that added on to the 2 years that I was when I first started this, it changes who I am as a man, and my purview and kind of perspective of what it means to be a human being and sharing this planet with some good people. Nell, I don't know if you want to jump in on this or if anybody else wants to say a few words to kind of close us out, and then we're going to finish with pieces of the Father's Day Pledge being said by the staff at our last in-person Father's Day Pledge that happened in Brooklyn just this past year. Amnel.
Hello, everyone. My name is Amnel, and I am the executive assistant at Connect. Working at Connect has been a beautiful experience for me. I've learned so much about myself and about just recognizing abuse that I had no idea was, a thing. Things that society and my family and just everyday living kind of normalizes to understand, no, that is wrong. And that needs to be addressed and it needs to be looked at, and it cannot be perpetuated. Like I've had a lot of aha moments just sitting behind the scenes and listening to certain speakers and, my own coworkers. I admire everyone that I work with so much. They're so full of knowledge and so full of compassion for each other, for the community. But like to hear them speak, to hear my coworkers speak and learn from them has been such a wonderful experience for me. And it honestly is, it's an honor to work at Connect for me. I don't say this lightly, but when I describe my experience working here, I say it, and I say it full of pride. It's been the best job I've ever had, because of just the everyday living, the amount of humanity that I see exposed in front of me, and it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. I love working here and I love my coworkers, and yeah, I don't know what else to say.
That's all. You said it all. You said it all. And I appreciate you sharing that with us and all of the staff and all of the community that we've worked with, the faith partners. And tonight is not really just about raising a couple of bucks, but it's really about sharing our staff with all of you. Because a lot of times there might be one or two faces that you see all the time, but these faces represent a strong, committed, passionate team. So this is about you getting a chance to learn, you know, who we are and why we do what we do and why we do it with you, along with you, and on your behalf, and standing with you in some cases, because we know you all have our back and we have yours, and whatever you need, we'll figure it out. All right. Any other last thoughts?
Hey, Q, this is Alex again. Let me just say this. I think we should all applaud the staff. You applauded us. Now it's time to applaud you guys, because you do a wonderful job and you work long hours. I mean, I've worked a lot with Marlon, and every time I talk to him, he's doing something. And this is after hours. So you know what? An applaud to your staff for the great work and continued success for Connect.
Thank you, brother.
Yes, greetings, everyone. Yeah, my name is Alfonso Davis. Yes, I am part of the Connect NYC Men's Roundtable for the past 3 years. Thanks to Brother DeVoe, he's on here.
Oh, okay.
And also thanks, Brother Q, for sharing and giving us the space to express ourselves, to share, because I know there are moments where, you know, it's just, I feel, you know, I had no place to go, and I feel I'm always, you know, come on in to listen to others speak, to, you know, to share about, you know, a couple months ago, I lost my mom, or health issues and so forth. And this is one of my favorite places. I know it's been a minute since I've been on here, but I, you know, brought people on, and some, in fact, one of them, I thought he would be on there today, but that's great. And then other than that, I'm great to donate here, you know, 2-3 times or so, whether if it's Giving Tuesday or just out of blue. So thanks again, happy anniversary, and also happy belated birthday, Q. That'll put you on the spot on there.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
All right, God bless. Love y'all.
All right, love you too, bro. We got a bunch of Alfonsos on the round table. So that was Alfonso Davis. All righty. Any other last thoughts, comments? Brother DeVoe, how you doing, brother? Brother DeVoe's probably been with us from the very, very beginning. When we, as people are mentioning, we used to be on 29th Street between 5th Avenue and Broadway for a long time, paying some ridiculous rent. But we moved uptown.
Yeah, I'm good, brother. I didn't want to, there was so many wonderful people working at Connect, man. I just kind of wanted to listen. I felt I'd be redundant hearing brothers Neil and Amir and Alfonso speak of, you know, what the round table meant. You know, I just want to hear from some of the other great things Connect is doing. I need to share y'all's work. I wasn't aware of all the women's and elders groups. So I definitely want to share that. And I guess I'll just say, man, you know, just thankful. I had put in the chat just to have a place to talk to brothers about like mental health and not be like judged or weird. Sometimes I'm out other places with brothers and I forget. I'm used to being so vulnerable and open at the men's roundtable. And I'll be with some other brothers. I'll be like, yeah, you know, I had to go to my therapist and stuff. And I got to remember people late, everybody's not ready for that. They're like, what? But I come to the round table and everyone's like, oh yeah, I had this situation before. Yeah, I talked to a therapist. It's just a different group of, you know, trusting, warm, intelligent, wise, you know, enlightened brothers. And I appreciate that. I just really appreciate, I know Marlon mentioned at the beginning that once a week through that first summer of the quarantine, I guess that was 2020.
It's twice a week.
Yeah, twice a week at the time.
Yeah, that was crazy. It was crazy.
It was great that you did it. It was a blessing you did it. It was a crazy time. Because I told you, man, you don't know what's affecting you until that we needed that, man. You know, I always say I'm doing well, going through anxiety and depression, but me being a person likes to be around people, out and about and teaching my whole career, 93, being in front of students, having to talk to students on Zoom, not getting that interaction, man, that was not an easy time. That was like a hard time. And being able, the fact that you were so consistent, and every couple of weeks I knew I could talk to some brothers and they would always be there, encourage you and lift you up. But I told you that story. I was going to the chicken wing spot, ready to get mad and fight people because I'm just so not used to being people. Everybody has a glass. Everybody stays 6 feet apart. Again, talking about it. I was like, I can't handle this. I'm not built for this, man. I'm built to be amongst the people and brush shoulders with the people. So just want to say I appreciate you. I appreciate the consistency. I appreciate the other brothers there. And I will definitely share, all the great things Connect is doing, just to help and support other people. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And that was exactly the goal of tonight, to let people know that whatever your single relationship with Connect is, that's not all we are and all we do, right? We're doing so many other things. So thanks a lot, DeVoe. And DeVoe is a Black comic book maker. So we got to support his work, and his character, his superhero is a superhero that goes to mental health counseling. What's it called again?
It's the Scruff, the Unforgiving Scruff.
Unforgiving Scruff. So look out for that. The second edition is coming out soon.
Yeah,
and the
right.
artwork is unbelievable, and the story content is even better.
Thank you. Appreciate that, brother.
Okay. So we're gonna close it out. And we're gonna just kind of close out together and with a clip of the Father's Day Pledge, which is now in over 55 cities. We started it right here. There's a Connect event started on New York City Council steps 14 years ago, and it's grown so much. And it's not just about fathers coming together, it's about men and women standing together to interrupt violence in our communities, because we can't do it alone, and our struggles are linked, so we can't see it as separate issues anymore.
Take action to end domestic violence and all forms of violence with love and compassion and without judgment. Take action to end domestic violence and all forms of violence with love and compassion and without judgment. I pledge to love and inspire our family, friends, and community.
All right, thank you all. Thank you all. Men's Roundtable will be back for our last one. I think it's the last one of 2022, next Wednesday at this time. And I think we got a couple more circles and roundtables before the end of the year. So you all, please spread the word and join us when you can. Maybe if you can't, we'll be there, and we'll be there when you're ready. All right, thank you all. Thank you to the partners. Thank you to the individuals that are part of our Connect community. Thank you to the staff. Much love, and be safe out there. Be safe out there.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
Peace and love. Later.
Good night.
Evening.
Peace.